Good morning, Team Flynn. Thank you so much for joining me today in a special episode, I guess we could call it. Typically during the week, we go deep into specific topics. But today, we still might go deep, but the topics are going to be based on you. The reason why we're doing an Ask Me Anything today, like we normally do on Sundays, is because I have a big webinar coming up in about 2 hours from now. And I just, quite honestly, wanted to focus and prioritize that. We have about 4,000 people registered for that webinar. And what is this webinar going to be about? What is this online training, this masterclass about? It's in fact about webinars. So it's a little bit meta. It's kind of interesting because in the presentation, I actually put another presentation in, and I'm going to be going into the sort of the details of it. It's our most profitable presentation. In fact, a webinar that has earned us well over $1.5 million. And I'll be sharing the insights of that and how that all works out. So anyway, thank you for allowing me to do a Q&A today, because I know y'all love to come here and go deep on particular topics, but I needed the extra time today. So again, I appreciate you. Welcome in everybody. Travis, Xenia, Jameen, we got K-Walk, Peasant Uprising. We have a thumbs down already, which is all good because it still helps with the algorithm. More people find it because of you, and I want to appreciate you for that. And I hope all is well, and I hope you have a better day. So all you have to do is ask questions, but for right now, sit back, relax, let's enjoy the intro music, and welcome to the income stream.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Yeah, the desk is a mess. And typically, and even the family knows, the day before a brand new webinar, I'm often a little bit high-strung, I'm a little bit stressed out, but that's okay. I absolutely thrive in pressure situations. It is when I'm the most creative. I don't know why that's the case, though. I don't know, is that similar to you? Do you feel like that when the pressure is on, you just click and things work? Or is that actually when you sort of fall and falter and things fall through? I think it's different for different people, but I think what's interesting is you have to kind of know who you are and when you work best. And the more that I can pressure myself with deadlines, with accountability from an audience, for example, or other people, my family members, the more likely I am to not just get things done, but get things done really well. Because I think when I have that pressure on, what matters is nothing else, right? Everything else, the blinders get put on and nothing else matters. The only thing that matters is getting this thing done on time, getting it done well. And plus, with a webinar, of course, I want to make sure I show up and provide value, and it's going to be a lot of fun too. So we're also launching a brand new course as well called A to Z Webinars, and it's the first time this is ever launched, so we're really excited about that too. So a lot of things to be nervous about, but at the same time, a lot of things to be excited about as well. Don says flight and fight, or the fight or flight sort of situation, right? Where you kind of just get into that focused mode. And it's kind of interesting because like we never want to put ourselves in those situations, but at the same time we kind of do, right? I don't know. It's kind of interesting like that. So chat, the way this works, if you've never been on a Q&A before, all you have to do is type in the word question in all caps plus your question. If you happen to be a member here, feel free to use the question emoji. I think there was a question super early on from, was it Peasant Uprising? Peasant, I can't remember. I had come in early to see the chat, and some of you were asking some questions. Anyway, here's one from Lisa. Question. 3 questions. Actually, 3 words questions, but 2 actual questions. An updated NDA for my contractor, and what type of video editing software? So an NDA, or non-disclosure agreement, is something that you can put in place before you sort of share or reveal or mention something that you don't want anybody else to disclose or to share. And an NDA, in most cases, is mostly used just for seriousness of a particular thing. There's still gray areas in terms of how well it would actually hold up in court. In many cases, yes, it would because it's signed. But I think more than anything, it just helps the other party understand that, okay, this is a serious thing that I don't want you to share. And sometimes, we tell our friends like, hey, can you keep it secret? Oh yeah, totally. And then all of a sudden the whole school's talking about you and the fact that your pants were down during lunch and you didn't even know it. So not speaking from personal experience, promise. Anyway, NDAs work, and I think that updated ones, you might be able to find templates or even go on places like Upwork.com if you don't already have an attorney or a lawyer in order to help you create one. To your second question, what type of video editing software? I'm using a PC with my phone. So if you are on PC, my favorite video editing software, there's 2. There's the higher level one like Adobe Premiere, right? Adobe Premiere is sort of like the premiere and very Adobe-like fashion, almost overwhelming at times, editing software that you can use. For me, in my opinion, I prefer something like Camtasia Studios. It's number one, a lot cheaper. Number two, a lot more intuitive. And number three, it's also useful because it's actually a screen recording software, but I love it because it's just very intuitive in terms of how to edit. So even if you don't do any screen recordings, you just import video from your phone into that, you can chop it up and do all those kinds of things. So that's no problem. Woo, excuse me. Elton says, this is different show than typical midweek income stream. Any reason? Yep, because I needed the extra time. I didn't have time to go into a deep topic today in terms of thinking about it, outlining it. I'm doing all of that for an upcoming webinar. So thank you for allowing me to do a fun little Q&A today. Hey, Tim, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Love Camtasia, says Kathy. Good. Thank you for validating that. Chris says DaVinci. I've heard a lot of great things about DaVinci as well. Not the person or the artist, but the not the genius, but the software. He was a genius, in my opinion. Cool. Question. How is NaNoWriMo going? So National Novel Writers Month. It's not going at all for me. Don't worry, it's not a failure. I had planned earlier in the year to write every day here in November to get my next book done. But when I started to uncover the topic of the next book and really the big idea, I learned that this is going to be a big deal. And not that I couldn't be able to do it in November, but I wanted to do it right and plan for a big idea that would be worth spending my time on. So I actually hired a coach to help me write this book and to help me unpack a lot of these things that I feel like the book should be about, but then actually structure them in a way that is really, really big, one that would turn heads, those kinds of things. So this whole month is dedicated to, in fact, nailing down the messaging, the title, and the subtitle, and the framework of that book. And then probably starting in December during Christmas break is when I'm going to be sort of getting into that mode of writing every day again and getting that done. So I'm excited about it. It is likely the first book, just to be upfront and honest with you, that I'll have that will be traditionally published. I have yet to traditionally publish a book. I have a Wall Street Journal bestseller as a self-published book. My latest book, Superfans, we're just about to cross 400 reviews. Will it fly, by the way? Over 1,000. Thank you so much for that last week. We actually demonstrated how to get more reviews last week, which was really cool. You can go and watch that video if you'd like. Woo! I'm stoked because this coffee is finally kicking in. It was a little bit slow this morning. I was up late working on my slides for my presentation and fine-tuning it, doing some rehearsals and whatnot. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to join me on this webinar in about an hour and 50 minutes at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, you can go and sign up at smartpassiveincome.com/webinars. One more time, smartpassiveincome.com/webinars. All right. AV says, these next 2 months are going to be high-strung for me, working on a podcasting training course, caffeine and motivation. Indeed, and congrats to you on making the decision to create that training course. I have one as well, and so do many others. There's room for more of us. We live in this world of abundance. There are people, David, who want to learn from you and not anybody else, so crush it. Get some people interested in it now, perhaps even some early takers, beta testers, early bird users who can almost build this with you and become case studies that you can use so that when you launch publicly, maybe it's something that will have more proof because people will have already taken it with you. Scrap Happy says, I'm so happy to be here a while today. I wish I could make this every day. It's always such a boost in my day. That's what I'm talking about. High five. Boom. There we go. Love it. Let's see. Looking for more questions. Damien, what's up, Damien? Thankful that you're here. Do you have any insight or resources for workflow? I'm asking about the meta and not necessarily about specific tools. How do you pace yourself to be consistent? So in terms of workflow, there's a number of different strategies that I've used. I used to do, and I still kind of do this, every day is a different task, essentially. So Monday is my writing day for the blog. Tuesday is my podcast recording day. Wednesday is my meetings day. Thursday and Friday are more cleanup days in terms of things that I wasn't able to get done. Friday is mostly a creative day, a day that I allow for myself 20% of my time to be able to try and experiment with new things and whatnot. So that's kind of how I have the days of the week. In terms of blocks of time, not tools-wise, but meta-wise, larger chunks of time for me to go in and not try to complete a to-do list, but just complete a progressing of a particular task. So I don't like to-do lists because you can get 9 out of 10 things done and still feel like a failure, right? Versus if I see that I have a block of time to make progress on something, then I can see that I am making progress on something, little or big. Sometimes it's different, but I'm still making progress, and that's what's important. I can learn from the failures and move forward to get more process the next time around. And then finally, the Pomodoro technique works really well too, which is 25 minutes on, 5-minute break, 25 minutes on, 5-minute break, 25, 5, 25, 5 during that large chunk of time. And that can work really well too. All right. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Question, video editing for vertical video, reels and such. Anyone can answer. I'm iPhone. So I use, what do I use for that? I think it's, let's see, video editing? Video Shop. I use Video Shop. There's a whole bunch of different apps, right? And chat, I don't know if you have any other specific ideas, or Josh from Anything Cameras, if you have a specific recommendation for an app on an iPhone to be able to edit for Reels. But definitely taking a little bit of extra care to edit and make things happen can go a very long way, because you can export those videos that are, again, vertical, right? Like this landscape, or not land, this is landscape. There's my, is that gonna focus? Oh, Jarvis and my daughter, our new puppy. I've noticed that when I do just even a little bit of additional editing, things that aren't usual on Reels, people do notice and people do appreciate that, which is really cool. Can recommend books about public speaking. Thanks for being here, Asma. A couple books. Number one, Stand and Deliver by Dale Carnegie. An absolute goldmine of information. Was my number one and first book that I read that really put me on this path. So again, Stand and Deliver by Dale Carnegie. Resonate by Nancy Duarte is another good book. And there's how to make a TED Talk, I think is the name of another book. How to craft a TED Talk, how to create a TED Talk, something about TED Talk. Look up on Amazon something about TED Talks, and with a lot of reviews, again, social proof. That's the one that I've heard has also been really good for really high-hitting, powerful presentations and things like that. But Resonate's a great one in terms of flow of conversation. I'm going to talk a lot about today, in fact, in today's webinar, about webinars. And that's, again, at 11 a.m. Pacific at smartpassiveincome.com/webinars. I'll be talking about how to run the perfect webinar and messaging and how messages come across, and the order of operations is really key there for sure. Adobe Rush is a good one. Talk like Ted, says Luke. Thank you, Luke. Love to watch these live streams. Made it on time. Thank you, Chnad. Great to see you here. Whoa, the thumbs down is gone. Oh, and then it came back. It's all good. Kathy says, I love when you say you get into something and you realize it's going to be a big deal or a journey. I find that encouraging. Thank you, Kathy. I think it's because it's about the journey. It's not just the end goal, right? And it allows me to appreciate the moments that I'm in it, where even if it's hard, I know it's just a part of the process. I often think of these challenges as just tests, right? The universe, or whatever you want to call it, a higher being, what have you, is testing you to see how much do you really want this. And again, you learn from your failures. When it comes to doing anything, you either get the results you want or the lessons you needed, right? I think that was a James Wedmore quote, or one that I heard from James Wedmore. I don't know if he created it, but I absolutely resonate with that. When you do something, you either get the results you want or the lessons you needed. Either way, it's a win. And of course, it's definitely a journey. Let's see. Question, what do you find hardest regarding your business, Pat Flynn? Oh gosh, so many different things. Number one, not getting so involved in everything, right? That's been one of the biggest challenges for me, because I love to do everything. As you can tell, I do a lot of things. And even within my businesses, as much as I have an amazing team and they're awesome and they have responsibilities and they take ownership of things, I still, in the back of my mind, I'm like, ooh, I wonder how they're doing. Can I do it this way? I'm trying not to micromanage. And that's a big part of leadership is, hey, let's not get into everybody's face all day long. Let's actually be a leader and train and allow a person to have responsibility so that I can also focus on the things that I need to focus on, if that makes sense. No, not Josh. Noah. Sorry. I don't know why I called you Josh. Sorry, Noah. My bad on that. I thought I called you Noah. Maybe I did call you Josh. Sorry, just a Freudian slip. I always worry when I say that. Anyway, other parts about business is remembering people's names. And then finally, another hard part about business is to try and keep all those new ideas sort of dormant, because sometimes when I get a new idea, my brain goes boom. I see the opportunities. Having experience in business, I know the opportunities are there, but I also know that if I say yes to this, I'm saying no to this. And it can be very difficult to manage multiple things at the same time. I got to keep those excited moments for new business ideas dormant, or allowed to use them as rewards, if that makes sense, once I unlock more time or finish a project, for example. Question from the Matables. You've reached out to about 25 similar podcasts, or I've reached out to about 25 similar podcasts to see if they would have me on their show to do a podcast swap. Not a single response. What could I be doing wrong? Number one, oftentimes the fortune is in the follow-up. We podcasters get so many people asking to be on our show, and a lot of times we are just conditioned to believe that everybody who reaches out is a bot, right? So we have to work a little bit further to develop these relationships. I don't know if you're reaching out via email or a video, perhaps on a direct message. That's the preferred way to do it. And of course, if you already have a relationship with them, that's great. If you already know somebody who knows them, try to go for an introduction versus a direct contact, because that can go a very long way too. Excuse me. And then the fortune is in the follow-up. Sometimes we need to follow up, and that's when a person goes, okay, this is legit, and this is a real person. And finally, let's really hone in on what you can do and your superpower and how it can relate to, excuse me, I'm very gassy today. Woo! Woo! I think that the biggest thing is helping you understand what your superpower is and how you can benefit another person's show, right? I think that we as humans, we're all very selfish. So when a person comes to me and asks to be on my show, I want to know, okay, what can this person do for me? What can they add value to for my audience? And how might it still benefit me? And then, that kind of situation could go well too. Finally, just keep trying. It just takes one yes to really change everything and put you on the map, right? Question from Chinad. How to come up with better, more interesting questions for podcast guests. Done 11 interviews now. Fantastic question. And as a reminder, Chinad is 15 years old and podcasting and already asking very, very good questions about this sort of thing. So congrats to you again, by the way. High five. So let's talk about this idea of interview questions. The best advice I can give you if you're doing an interview is to just be genuinely curious. Number one, be genuinely curious and know where you want this to go. What value does this person have? Those questions and then being curious should be guided through all of that. And that way you don't even have to come prepared with a set list of questions. You are just prepared to get down and dirty and curious, right? Nomadables, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate you for that. Hashtag keeping it real. Pat Flynn says, save like a bear. Awesome. So being genuinely curious, honestly. Also, the best questions that you can ask are actually very simple questions like, why? Right? When we're kids, we ask why. Why? Because we are very curious. We want to learn more. But for whatever reason, we are just conditioned as now older human beings to believe why is an annoying question. And of course, busy parents can understand this. When a kid's asking why, and you're like, I have things to do. Why? Now in our brain, we're like, why is a bad question? Why is actually a great question. This is how you get to the root of a situation. Oftentimes when you ask a question, you get back a surface level answer. What you want to do is dig 6 feet down, because that's where the gold lies. And that's what you need to do with these follow-up questions like, well, why did you feel like that? Or what was going through your head at that time? Or things like, well, what happened next? That's my favorite. It's not a question. Oh, actually it is a question, but it's my favorite thing to do, because a lot of times when you ask a question and a person answers, the guest wants to be respectful. They don't want to talk the whole time. They want to let you interject every once in a while, but they're almost giving you permission to go, okay, well, where do you want to go from here? And if you still want them to continue going, if you still want more out of that story, a simple thing you can do is go, well, then what happened? And then the person's like, oh, you want me to keep going? Okay, I'll keep going, right? So you can just go that way, right? So that's how you might be able to get more and have shows that are different from everybody else's, right? Cool. Can't get $1 million answer with a $1 question. Bruh. Nice one, Luke. Imagine if we podcasters got paid per question, though. That'd be crazy. I would just be like, how are you? What's your favorite color? What'd you do today? Vertical video, wrong. Steve Jobs will burn forever for making this a thing. But it is a thing, and there's apps. And so it would behoove you to go with the times versus fight against it, right? We don't want to lollygag and sort of let things pass by when these opportunities are there, and vertical video is obviously a thing for sure. What is that song? Oh, that's South Park. Don says, do you ever use a simple video of yourself with an update and put it on your YouTube channel? Or do you use that only on your WordPress site or email? Do you ever use a simple video of yourself with an update and put it on your YouTube channel? Oh, so I don't, because I want my YouTube videos to be known to be very highly valuable every time a person comes on. However, there are a lot of people who are YouTubers who want to keep their audience updated in a more personal and more casual manner because they know their audience is curious, especially for vlogs, family vlogs, mom blogs, dad blogs, parent blogs, those kinds of types of places where you have a big personal brand and it's about you and what you're doing. Updates work really well, and it could just be a simple video, not edited and just kind of real, and that can be very powerful at times. Still, you want to come up with a really great thumbnail and title to go along with that. But yeah, for sure. Let's see. More questions, more questions. Chris, I'm thinking of creating content products in a completely different industry than my main business. So I set up a separate LLC from the beginning. That's going to be really up to you. I can't answer that question for you. It's going to be based on your comfort level and how much you feel like maybe there's a risk in going, and how it could, if something were to happen, affect your other existing business. Best practice, I know most people are going to say, and especially lawyers who you will pay to help make this happen, right? They'll say this too, so take that with a grain of salt. They'll want you to set up a new business to keep things separated, right from the start. It also helps you take it more seriously, I've found as well. However, we don't know if this is going to work, and so I like to kind of do things and run experiments within my umbrella business. And when I see that there's legs here, then I'll move it over to a separate business, if that makes sense. I also want to just question, and again, I don't know what this is about, Chris, but is this a distraction, or is this actually a thing that you feel would be worth your time and effort moving forward? Are you in fact using this new business idea as an excuse to say no to other things that you once said yes to, that you know you need to finish? I'm not saying that to you. I'm just saying this is a very common pattern. I've fallen into that trap myself, and I want to make sure that we're not falling into the same traps too. Thanks for the thumbs down. Still helps with the algorithm, so I appreciate you. Hope you have a better day. All right. Let's see. I'm looking for more questions. Thank you again for that super chat, Nomadables. Question from Phone Savers. I am procrastinating. Welcome to the club. I have websites to develop and lots of time. What do I do? It's all new terrain. Podcasting, dropshipping. I have the tech ability. Good luck with the webinar today. Thank you so much for that. Procrastinating is a real thing. It is very common. Most people do it. But we have to also consider, why are we procrastinating? Are we procrastinating because we're maybe a little bit scared? A lot of times we self-sabotage without even knowing it because we're trying something new and we're afraid of what might happen once we put it out there. It feels better to just be in limbo before you launch versus launching and failing. But the truth is, failing is okay, and you need to get to that failure point in order to know how to grow and where to pivot from and how to adapt. But if you are just in limbo and sort of being a procrastinator, then guess what? Nothing's going to ever give you that opportunity to learn. So what is at stake here is the big question. I want you all to ask this to yourself. Let me know how that question resonated with you. I felt some of you like a gut sort of reaction to that question. What is at stake here? And what would be fallen? What opportunity would be lost if you just kept putting it off? A lot of times you might think about the opportunity lost because of competition, time, being early to market, etc. You might think about the people who every day, the fact that you don't have something up and running for them is missing out on that chance to work with you. And of course, as a byproduct, you're not earning more. What is at stake here? Luke, welcome to Team Flynn Gold, my friend. Thank you. Oh, I said high five. There we go. Welcome in. Thank you so much. What is at stake? Sizzle, butter, Angus, Wagyu. Okay. For me, creating a deadline and taking this giant project of yours, chopping it up into little pieces, and then having little micro sprints and celebrating the end of each of those sprints once I have some sort of accomplishment, that's where I think we could get progress made. And then also having an accountability partner. Like if I were to tell you, phone savers, that 1 month from now, in fact, here's what I'm going to do. Here, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to go into my phone. I'm going to go into my calendar. And 1 month from now, December 10th, I'm going to put into my calendar on the income stream. I'm going to change the title of the income stream to Ask Phone Savers How the Websites Are Going. Cool? So now I'm going to hold you accountable to that. And it's coming. You got 30 days. Boom. Thanks, Pat. That really resonated. Yes, I seem to like staying with what I know. How can I be afraid of what I don't know? Butter, Angus. Hell yeah. All right. What was that? Elton. Yes, the shiny object syndrome. Any idea to overcome this? Pat did mention just-in-time learning, but wondering if any criteria or cheat sheet on just-in-time doing initiative, etc. So for those of you who don't know, just-in-time learning is the way that I like to learn, right? I only allow myself to learn about the things that I'm working on in the short term. Like, what am I working on right now? What's my next goal? Any sort of learning I do, podcast listening, blog post reading, watching of YouTube videos outside of just random entertainment time, and Pokemon videos that I watch, Pokemon card investing videos, and Tesla. It's funny how I mentioned Pokemon first and then Tesla. Tesla is like 90% of my portfolio. Anyway, that's what I learn about, whatever it is that I'm working on next. When it comes to shiny object syndrome, I do know that trying to stay focused on one thing is very hard. So I allow myself time, 20% of my time, Friday, to experiment, to try new things, to scratch that itch. That's what I call the 20% itch rule, if that makes sense. Whoo-wee. Thumbs down. Thank you so much for the for the thumbs down. Honestly, if that makes you feel better, if you need me as an outlet to express your negativity and you don't feel this is helpful for you, then I'm sorry I can't help you, but I'm grateful that I'm an outlet for you and you still helped with the algorithm, so I appreciate you for that, and I hope you have a better day. Lisa, does WordPress have the best survey tool? I need data for content support and email addresses at this time. You know, WordPress has a lot of plugins that would allow you to run surveys, but there are two tools that I will mention. SurveyMonkey, that's one that I've used that's outside of any website. You don't even need a website. You just need people to go to a link to take that survey, right? And that's outside of a website. Excuse me. So that's one, SurveyMonkey. Number two, there is a tool that can integrate with WordPress and other websites called WriteAsk. And this is a tool that actually lives within a tool that I've mentioned before called WriteMessage, where you can, based on questions that are answered from your audience, change parts of your websites depending on their answers. So let's say, for example, you ask a question like, are you a independent website developer or are you with an agency? And then now every time they come to your website moving forward, it expresses language based on that answer, right? Hey, here to help you increase your revenue in your design agency, or hey, here to help you as a solopreneur, and those can go that way too. Costa says, should I thumbs up or thumbs down? Which do you want? I mean, I would prefer a thumbs up. If you want to spread positivity here in the Pat Cave, that would be really great. But yeah, I would appreciate a thumbs up. But hey, if you need a thumbs down to make you feel better, that's cool too. All right, skipping around. Let's see. Shanley. Hey, Pat. Hey, Shanley. Good to see you here. I have launched a mini course, thanks to you, all about self-talk. I use a waitlist strategy and signed 3 people. How can I get more people on it as it is now available to the public? So first of all, congratulations on getting anybody on there. That's a big feat in and of itself. And yes, it's only 3 people, but that's 3 real human beings who can now guide you to tell you why they signed up and what about this situation made them interested. And then you can take a lot of that language and what you now know about these people who are in it to find new people to come within it too. Secondly, try to see if you can get results for these 3 people, because they can be used to help support new people to come in. Not necessarily directly, but their story, their transformation, the self-talk that you're teaching them to do, you can actually help them help new people understand the benefits that they can have working and coming in and learning from you. So that's kind of where I would start. Did I say the Pat Cave? Yes, the Pat Cave. Is that a thing? Should I make that a thing? Because it's kind of a thing. And I am not Batman, but I'm Patman. Okay, this is getting out of hand. Question. I'm not sure if I'm right to ask that. I want to understand the sentence, sell the cure, not the prevention. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that because a lot of times people don't necessarily know that they need the cure and they want the thing that prevents them from having the pain or the problem, right? But I think that where maybe this comes from is that helping people. Actually, this particular quote, thanks for the thumbs down, by the way. The quote is interesting because people want the cure more than they want to prevent the thing from happening, right? For example, how much money is spent on medicine and pills and medical bills for people who are fixing things that were things that they had control, right? They have control over what we eat and exercise, yet we aren't, so inclined to fix ourselves sometimes, and we are spending way more money with the cure to the problems that we've created for ourselves versus the prevention of those problems, right? It's the same thing with taking care of your house, right? You could pay up front to prevent your roof from caving in and having the right structure, but hey, it's not a problem right now, so I don't need to pay for it, versus, hey, when there's a hole in the roof, I'm going to pay for that, right? So, Spanish and Go, what's up? Long time no see. Glad you are here and hope all is well. Miss Boy says, now I just want to say I thoroughly enjoyed some of your AskPat episodes recently and have found them extremely valuable. Thank you. And make sure you're subscribed to AskPat because our upcoming episodes are, in fact, Where Are They Now episodes. We take people who were once on AskPat, who got coaching from me, who've hopefully implemented, and they now come back to go, here's what I did, here's what I didn't do, here's what worked, here's what didn't. Brian, welcome to Team Flynn Gold. I appreciate you for being here, my friend, and for supporting the channel. You're incredible. Na, Pat, man. I thought it was going to be na, hey, Pat, man. Okay. Oh, darn, too late, says Kit. All good. We still got, I would say 15 minutes. I'm going to end a little bit early because, again, I have a webinar to prep for, and there's a lot of things in the slides I still have left to fix. There are the technical things I have to get connected and make sure everything's beautiful and ready for you at 11 a.m. Pacific at smartpassiveincome.com/webinars. Thanks, Pat. New, says Barkley. What's up? Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. All right. I got a ding. My daughter just texted me and says, "LOL, are you rapping?" Yes, I'm sorry. She's literally in the other room, and I think she's wondering why I'm screaming or yelling. Keisha says, "Hi, Pat. I just started the Miracle Morning. Can you offer strategies to be successful, especially with getting up? Thanks." One day at a time, Keisha. One day at a time. It's a struggle bus to start out, waking up earlier than usual, and just honor the time that you have allocated for yourself in the morning. We're so used to setting the alarm in the morning for somebody else. We're setting it in the morning because we got to go make the kids breakfast and get them ready for school. We got to set the alarm in the morning so that we can actually... My daughter said, "I hear you from the office. You're good. No worries." She's 8. Why is she talking like that? I'm so scared. I wish we had cameras on us for you to see. We are grooving with you. Thank you. Appreciate that. I think I lost like 10 people watching at that time, but I don't care. I don't care. I'm here to serve, here to help you have fun. We're in this together. Peasant Uprising, having gotten this far, what would you do differently? What would you tell 2008 Pat? I would say you're in for a wild ride. Know what your priorities are and just have fun. Honestly, the priorities are the most important thing, and that helps you make decisions more than anything, knowing why you're doing what you're doing and who is it for and etc. Other than that, I am so appreciative of all the ups and all the downs that I've had, and I would just say, try to get to know as many people as possible, because that, you never know, the next person that you meet could be the one that changes everything for you, right? To go back to Keisha's question really quick, if you can't fit in all of the savers, fit in the ones that you feel are most impactful, and you don't have to do them for very long. There's, in fact, in the book, I think, how to do a 6-minute miracle morning. And obviously, I'd try to do more, maybe even just at least get 20 minutes overall But over time, you can find that there are some of those saviors that work better for you than others. Meditation is really key for me to allow me to breathe and have some room to sort of like decompress every day for a little bit, which is really awesome. And then also affirmations have been really key. That was sort of like the unexpected one that I was just like, I don't know if like saying these things about myself is going to help out. I think it's like almost lying to yourself. But when you do it right and you actually practice them and you believe these statements, then a lot of this stuff that you do is a reflection of what you say about yourself, right? Let me say that again. A lot of what you do is a reflection of what you say about yourself. So those are some important things that I think might be able to help you. Thanks for the thumbs down. Hope all is well and wish you a better day. Travis says, I want to schedule some interviews for my podcast, but worried I'm not a good interviewer. What are some good tips for beginner interviewers? Number one, make it conversational. Don't feel like you have to have a list of perfect questions. You're not, I was going to say Barbara Streisand, Barbara Walters. You're not Katie Couric. You're not Larry King. You're Travis, and you're here to learn more and be curious about a particular story or situation. So just be curious, right? Also understand who's in your target audience and what they might be thinking when you get certain answers, because you can, on the behalf of your audience, you can actually ask great questions. That my favorite comment that I always get on a podcast is this: you asked the question that was on my mind. When I get comments about my podcast about that, I like when people go, Pat, you just seem to always know what I'm thinking, and then you ask that same question. I'm like, yes, that's perfect. So whatever you can do to get in the heads of your audience is better. And then also just be genuinely curious, have that guide where the conversation goes. And then also learn to sit back and listen. A lot of times, too many brand new podcasters who are doing interviews feel like we have to interject. We feel like we're not offering value when we aren't speaking. But the value, if you're interviewing, comes from the person who you've interviewed. You've done the hard work already, connecting and bringing this person on the show. That's the value that you're providing. Now, your value comes with the questions that you ask and the listening that you do. Awesome. Question. I get tongue-tied with content and end up in a freeze mode. Does this happen to you, and what do you do to overcome it? Yeah, it definitely happens, Jillian, especially if I'm just trying to like think about the proper thing to say, and then I'm worried about, and then what happens is I'm like, oh my gosh, I messed up. And then I think, wait, why am I focusing on what I messed up on? I need to keep going. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been 10 seconds. I haven't said anything, blah, 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 blah. Let me know if you can relate to that, right? So it happens. I think just with practice, you learn to get better at it, and you start to sort of automatically filter through things as you're speaking the more you do it, right? So just keep going is all I can say. And then if you have some sort of path or journey that you know you're on with an interview or a podcast, or anytime you're answering a question, just like kind of know where the road is leading to. And if you get off the path every once in a while, just get back on and you'll be good to go from there. Thanks for SPI Pro. It's really helpful, says Expert Family Coach. Thank you for saying that. We are having so much fun in there. My team is having a blast showing up and serving all of you. And it's just so cool to see all the amazing fun things that people are doing, which is really cool. Thanks for the thumbs up, by the way. I'm wondering if we can get to 100 within the next 5 minutes before we peace out. Again, this was just a casual Q&A day, although it doesn't seem casual. It's a lot of great questions coming in, and hopefully you feel there's fire here with these answers to help you on your business journey. And even if you didn't get a question answered, hopefully you had and heard a question that you didn't know that you had from somebody else, and then still got an answer, obviously. Question, what is your advice to a 19-year-old starting to learn how to have an income stream? It's all about helping people. What can you do to help a certain group of people? Understand that group of people. What do they need help with? What are their struggles? What are their challenges? What are the things that drive them crazy? What are the big and small inconveniences that they've had? That's where all solutions come from. And then learn about them. Talk to them. Get to know them. Learn about their story. The more that you can empathize with a particular audience, the more likely it is that you're going to create, number one, a solution, but number two, genuinely share it in a way that can help you get more money back. Your earnings are a byproduct of how well you serve that audience, right? Your earnings are a byproduct of how well you serve that audience. Great question. Thank you, by the way. Question, when Grandma Goody was on day 200, my audio was wobbly. What mic or headset would fix it? I had to switch mics, usually use a Logitech headset. Just on day 200 though? I don't know, it could be a computer or system issue. Sometimes I always recommend before going live, and I do this every morning now because I've seen problems too. If I've left my computer on for a very long time, sometimes it just is slower, right? It's almost like it just hasn't had a time to reset or sleep. So I'll turn it off, I'll turn it back on, and usually things get back to normal. So you may not need to buy anything new if 199 days straight it was working fine. But try again, start the computer, test it, and just make sure it's working okay. Spanish and Go, what's one thing we can do to push our AskPat application up the chain? It's very difficult. I mean, we literally get dozens a day, Spanish and Go. So you might be able to reach out. I mean, since you've been here, reach out to pat@patflynn.com and just mention that Pat said, hey, we might look at our application for AskPat for 2021. Kathy did break my mic last week, but hey, it's even better, and it gave me an excuse to clean things up, and I have less things on my desk now. So thank you for that, Kathy. Always making lemons into lemonade here. Shout out to the moderators here. Yes, thank you, K-Walk Comedy and Just Samson. Thank you for being here and showing up. Although, is Samson in here today? I don't know. I haven't seen him. The Matables, final question. Would you let me have you on my podcast for an episode worth a shot? Well, first of all, thank you so much for the super chat and Matables. Right now, I'm booked all the way through the rest of the year, but there will be a time in early 2021, likely, that I'll have a good chunk of time to be able to get on other people's shows. So if you wanted to reach out and at least try, I can't guarantee it, but if you reach out to pat@patflynn.com, we can potentially take that conversation from there and figure out what to do. So thank you for that, by the way. Pat Flynn, I just and my co-host booked 5 new guests for my podcast. So excited, says Chinad. Awesome, Chinad. Well done. Keep up the great work. We got 2 minutes left. Where did that song come from? I have no idea. Where's a good place to suggest a future income stream show? Oh, I get it. Here, or send me an email, pat@patflynn.com, or in fact, a better way to get me, a less populated place, would be a direct message on Twitter or a direct message on Instagram. Those I see and look at all of them, so that's just a little hint. If you want to get better and more direct access to me, that's the place where you might go to get it. So a direct message on Instagram or a direct message on Twitter. All right. Excellent. Hey, chat. Is there a Facebook group outside of this chat group? There is, in fact, a Slack channel and chat. If you happen to be in that Slack channel and have the directions for that, I'm not in there. That's just the community created it on its own, which is super cool. So if you happen to have a link for Journey with Leon, that would be great. And please share that in the chat. Karen, last question I'll take today. I'm looking at Circle for membership. Should I have one for closed paid and one for free, or combine? You are able to, in fact, have certain spaces within Circle closed for members and other ones open for public. So you could have both in one spot. It could encourage those who are free to go and then say, hey, I'd love access to this space. I guess I'll pay to get access to it. So it could work, and it could be all in one spot, which is really cool. So, all right. Happy 245th birthday, Marine Corps, Semper Fi, excuse me. That's awesome. Happy birthday. All right. What are you having for dinner today? I know you aren't at dinner time yet, but was wondering, I don't know what we're having today. Typically on Tuesdays, we eat out because our daughter has hula practice, and even though it's still at home, we've been keeping that tradition of weekly eating out on Tuesdays, but we've been Uber Eatsing it in, so I don't know what we're going to be in the mood for today. Yesterday, I made a stew with an Instant Pot, and it was excelente, using some of the vegetables from the garden. So anyway, it was cool. All right, y'all. Hey, Samson, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in, and I'm about to peace out. I got to go get things completed and ready for this upcoming webinar happening in about an hour and 15 minutes. If y'all want to check that out, you can spend another hour and 15 minutes with me at smartpassiveincome.com/webinars. You could register to that. And we're going to have a bunch of people on to watch me go through and dissect our most popular, most profitable webinar, so I can show you how to structure yours and how you can run the perfect webinar too. So smartpassiveincome.com/webinars. Thank you so much for being here today. I did get the secret word, and I still owe you one from, I think, Sunday, so I missed it. But I did get it in yesterday, and we're going to play another game of Watch Your Mouth on Friday. Again, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for joining in. You listened to a rap today. You listened to a bunch of questions coming in and answers, and I hope that you got some good advice here. So anyway, got to head out. Peace out. See ya, some of you in a little bit. smartpassiveincome.com/webinars. And if you're watching this in the future, you can still go to that link. There should be something there for you too. So anyway, keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the good lucks. Rock your Tuesday as well, Jillian, and for everybody else here. Appreciate you. And as always, Team Flynn for the win.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream. All while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
All right. Thank you so much for today. I'm going to rest my voice before the webinar, and it should be high pack, high value, high energy. And I look forward to serving you there. So great job today. Thanks for all the questions. You make this possible. I'm just here to serve. Peace out, y'all.
Bruh.